Hello everyone and welcome to the 4.0 Scrapper Scoundrel review, or overview should we say. This spec, of course, we're standing behind the target because we're a Scrapper Scoundrel, not standing in this corner for any particular reason. She's got her sunglasses on. She is just permanently hungover these days, is Lanessa, now that she's retired as being our main. We did do healing spec earlier, but we're gonna have a go at all the melee specs, so I guess we'll have to take a look at the Scrapper Scoundrel, which, if you're watching this and you're a BioWare employee, Scrapper Scoundrels exist. Okay, just gonna point that out. We exist. You believe that? We actually exist. Let's get a look at it. What it's all about here. It's all about the back blasts, the big back blasts, and the big sucker punch. Okay, we don't need guns. Okay, even though we got a shotgun, even though we exist in a universe where people use laser guns and laser swords and can shoot lightning out of their hands, we are gonna punch things because we're just that fucking hardcore. Okay, we're just so hardcore. We're gonna use sucker punch. Okay, exploits upper hand to punch the target. Requires and consumes upper hand. Upper hand is our secondary resource. We've got our energy resource. We generate upper hand primarily through bludgeon or by the use of back blast from stealth. You'll see back blast, stealth, we gain an upper hand stack, and of course it allows us to use sucker punch. It is our only thing that we can use it for there nowadays, because of course blaster volley no longer requires it. It used to be if you were a single target, sucker punch. If you're AoEing, you'd use blaster volley, but now you can use blaster volley outside of that. You can use blaster volley, so there is only one thing to spend. Well, there's actually technically two things. We can spend it on Colto Pack or heal, but yeah, unless we're PvPing, we're not going to do that. Leave that to the healers. That's their job to heal you. You're a DPS, go and kill stuff. Of course we get things like Flying Fist. Sucker Punch triggers Flying Fist, dealing an extra 1707 additional kinetic damage. Standard and weak enemies are additionally stunned by Flying Fist. Okay, let them have it. Increases the critical chance of blaster volley by 15% and its critical damage bonus by 30%. I love this. I love every ability sound. Let them have it. That is for AoE mostly. Increases our stealth detection chance. We get round 2. Flying Fists immediately regrants upper hand when hitting a bleeding target. Okay, this cannot occur more than once every 10 seconds. So we want to keep the target bleeding. Now, to bleed them, we do get where is it? Flechette round. Flechette round, sadly a passive these days. I wish we could have that as an emote or something exclusive to smugglers. Load Flechette round, because that was cool. That was cool as hell when you used to have to manually load it. Bit of a pain in the arse. Functionally it was a pain in the arse, but I liked the act of loading it. It was fun when you were waiting for a war zone to start, or you were waiting for a pool, waiting for the boss to be pulled, just loading your flechette round into your shotgun. It's awesome stuff. Okay, load your shotgun with flechettes, whatever the hell, causing back blast to deal an additional 3,135 internal bleed damage over 6 seconds and increase armor penetration by 30% for 15 seconds. We want our targets bleeding generally. Flechette round will make them bleed. Also, you've got Vital Shot as well, which again will cause the target to bleed as well. So it's always worth keeping a Vital Shot up. We're going to use Back Blast on cooldown. And our other big ability that we have is Blood Boiler. Blood Boiler is our big DPS ability. Okay, our big damage ability. Summons a probe that boils the blood of the target for a few seconds, after which damage dealt by one of your bleeds will trigger an explosion, dealing a massive amount of internal damage. Makes the target assailable for 45 seconds. They take 7% more damage from elemental and internal attacks. Don't read elemental, we don't do any elemental attacks. We do internal attacks. The agent does elemental attacks, okay? So this is our big cooldown. So what we want to do is get our flechette round up, get our blood boiler up, because the target has to be bleeding in order for blood boiler to do damage. So we either want, if backblast is unavailable, then we're going to use vital shot to keep the target bleeding so that blood boiler will do damage. Okay, blood boiler is our big cooldown. It is our biggest source of damage. We want to keep that on cooldown generally. You get the increased critical chance and increased critical damage dealt by blood boiler. Blood boiler crits are massive. Okay, sucker punch will deal 5% more damage as well to targets affected by a flechette round. Also increases our effective stealth level by 2 when we activate scamper or dodge and resist all incoming attacks. Quite nice actually, that is scampering. Scamper is our speed boost, in case you don't know. We also get the increase the critical damage dealt of backblast, sucker punch, blood boiler, and bludgeon by 10%. Used to be 20%. Should point out it used to be 20. Got nerfed down to 10. Okay. Bludgeon is our other ability. It replaces our blaster whip. Okay, and it is our primary method of generating upper hand. The goal of the spec is to generate and spend upper hand constantly while keeping backblast and blood boiler on cooldown. Okay, it's quite a simple spec really. We're going to generate upper hand with bludgeon, we're going to spend upper hand with sucker punch, we're going to keep backblast and blood boiler on cooldown. We're going to occasionally use our vital shot to keep the target bleeding. Shank Shot is useful when we need to save energy, and quick shot is generally filler if we've got nothing to press. Leads into a new level 64 item. Increase the damage dealt by bludgeon and quick shot by 5%. Okay, brings quick shot into it. Never liked using quick shot in this spec, to be honest. Always used flurry of bolts generally as filler to save energy. Shank Shot, when it was available, Shank Shot costs no energy. Fires a close-up scattergun shot at the target. Deals a little bit of damage. You'll see the damage here in comparison. Quick Shot does a lot more damage than Shank Shot these days, so Quick Shot does cost energy, so if we're short on energy, Shank Shot and Flurry of Bolt. Shank Shot does have a cooldown, 14.4 seconds, 15-second cooldown really, and you know, Flurry of Bolts doesn't, so that's why we're always a bit hesitant to use Quick Shot, because again it just gives us the but it does do more damage these days than Shank Shot, so I guess we're gonna have to use that wisely. Let's move on to our utilities. Useful utilities. We smuggled Get Up, reduce all AoE damage taken by 30%. Again, if we're taking AoE damage, a lot of fights do it, especially the Shadow of Revan ops as well. They all do that. TOS and Ravagers, they have a lot of area damage going out. EV has, you know, a decent amount of area damage. I think that counts as area damage. Titan 6 and Scum and Villainy again does a lot of AoE damage. So again, reducing the damage taken by 30% is a big cooldown. Scar Tissue I would always take. Again, increased damage reduction by 5%. Okay, just increasing your damage reduction. 5% flat damage reduction. The new ability is Curbing Shot. Quick Shot and Blaster Volley reduce the movement speed of the targets they damage by 40%. Not really relevant in PvE. Let Loose if we're cleaving. Not a great cleave spec, to be honest, this one. Blaster Volley deals 25% more damage. Sneaky is quite nice as well. Increases our movement speed while stealth and effective stealth level by 3. It means we're less likely to be detected. And also it does, well, it's not, the movement speed increase is not really that important because we do have our new trick move as well, which we'll get to later. Flash Powder is very, very useful when you're dealing with ads. Okay, reduces the target's accuracy by 20% for 8 seconds after Flash Grenade ends. Bear in mind, Flash Grenade as a smuggler affects multiple targets. No, it doesn't only do one target now. It used to do multiple targets. I'm fairly sure as a Scoundrel it does multiple targets these days. Have they changed that? Because it didn't say anything in the patch notes. Scoundrel, Scoundrel. Increase the critical chance of cold toe pack, back blast, point blank shot. I'm pretty sure that did do multiple targets. There was a talent as a Scoundrel here somewhere. Got our upper hand. We've got our weapon proficiency, trick move, triage. Flash grenade. Flash grenade blinds the target for 6 seconds. Don't we get a thing? We usually got a thing as a Scoundrel here that did multiple targets. Maybe they've changed it. Ooh, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. They've changed that. Still useful though. Still useful if we're doing an ad that's going to hit the tank. Useful cooldown. Hold out defense. Slapping a target. Slapping them. Fucking slap those fuckers. With blaster, whip, or bludgeon grants hold out defense. Increase their movement speed by 30%, by 50% for 3 seconds. Useful if we're doing sort of target swapping again on Underlurker. If we're doing that and we want to switch targets, switch from one ad to the other. If we can time our bludgeon correctly, then we can take advantage of that. But it does require a bit of timing. The new talent that we get in Masterful is while our slow release med pack is active on ourselves, damage reduction is increased by 3% per stack. So 6% because it's 2 stacks. We do get access to slow release med pack in this spec. Not really. We're not really going to use this for PvE. As a healer, yeah, because you can put on stacks of your slow release med pack. As a DPS, I feel we benefit more from med screen. Okay, defense screen heals us for 5% of our health. Maximum health when it collapses. So I always think that is the way to go. Rather than slow release med pack. The problem with it is that while we're doing DPS, we don't really want to be doing this while we're doing damage. Okay, we really don't want to be managing our slow release med pack. You know, it's just an extra button to press in your DPS rotation, and it's another thing to keep track of. Because, you know, it's only, what is it, 18 seconds? It's not 20 seconds like it is in the healer tree. You know, it just means that we don't really want to be keeping track of slow release med pack. Really, if you're taking constant damage, there is an argument to be made for it. But I would always go with med screen is my preference. Cool head. Keep cool, should we say. Cool head immediately restores 15 additional energy. Again, we got no energy, we can't really do much DPS, so again it is a nice DPS increase. Dirty Trickster, surrender, purges movement impairing effects if you're doing Underlurker hard mode, or we're doing some of the Shadow of Revan, Forged Alliance flashpoints. They have a lot of movement impairing effects. Bear in mind all flashpoints are available right now, so surrender will also purge movement impairing effects. You could also see have flee the scene as well. Is useful in Scrapper. Just the cooldown of Disappearing Act by 30 seconds and Sneak by 15 seconds. Okay, and in activating Disappearing Act increases the movement speed by your movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. Because Disappearing Act is useful. It used to be required in the spec back when we had Shoot First as our ability. Because what we used to have, we had 2 main shotgun abilities. We had Back Blast and we had Shoot First. Now Shoot First, which thematically worked well. I like the name of that, Shoot First, you know. Of course we want to shoot first. We're a Scoundrel, we shoot first. Smugglers always shoot first, okay? No matter what they do to us in editing, they always shoot first. Okay, so yeah, you've got your... used to have Shoot First, so to use Shoot First you had to use Disappearing Act. So it was basically a 2-minute cooldown, so that would have been required if we still had Shoot First. Of course we don't. We lost that when Rise, was it? No, it was Shadow of, was it Shadow of Revan that came out and got rid of that? I think it was, because I remember using it in Hot Cartel. Yeah, it was Shadow of Revan that got rid of that. Bit of a shame too, because I like that ability. But again, if you need upper hand, you can use Flee the Scene as well. It's pretty viable. Heroic, depends on what boss we're doing. Our new ability is Sleight of Foot. Trick Move can be used while immobilized and purges movement impairing effects when used. Again, Underlurker hard mode can be useful, because bear in mind you can use Trick Move. We'll talk about Trick Move. Okay, you override your stealth generator to quickly move to a friendly or enemy target. Bear in mind both can be jumped to. It's not like the Shadow Stride, which can only be done on an enemy. Increases their movement speed by 75% for 3 seconds. Now, we can use this on the enemy. You can see here, we'll Shadow Stride to the enemy. We can also use it on an ally as well, which makes it very useful, especially for healers as well. So if we need to get to a position quickly, then, you know, it gives us that opportunity to get there. So you can use it while stunned, and it purges movement impairing effects. So it is pretty useful. Hotwire Defense, if we're taking spike damage. Again, Sword Squadron, we tend to look at. Increases the amount absorbed by our defense screen by 30%. It means the gravity does no damage effectively to us. As a healer, you always take this as well. Also, you can take Smuggle Defense, reduces the cooldown of escape, again if we're getting stunned. It's mostly defense screen that we want to use. Defense screen by 5 seconds means we can use it more often and it'll absorb more damage. If we're doing Underlurker, though, Scramble is the way to go. Okay, it's the only real choice. Every time we get attacked, which happens on Underlurker all the time, the cooldown of our dodge is reduced by 3 seconds. Now, on Underlurker, the majority of his damage is melee. Okay, increase our chance to dodge melee and ranged attack by 200% for 3 seconds. Now we can cheese the Underlurker. If you're doing Underlurker hard mode, what you can do is you can ignore the Devastate, I can't remember what the debuff's called, but the debuff that you get from standing in front of him. Now the tanks generally, or the tank and one of the DPS have to swap. What we can do is ignore that mechanic, and we can just put a Scoundrel in front of the Underlurker every single time in hard mode, because you will take no damage. Okay, when he's channeling Devastate, you wait till it gets to 3 seconds. The channel goes 5, 4, 3. As soon as it gets to less than 3 seconds, you get your dodge up, you take no damage. Okay, because the dodge lasts for 3 seconds. So you just wait till the channel goes under 3 seconds, and you just hit your dodge, and you'll never take any damage in the cross. You can just ignore that whole mechanic with a Scoundrel. Okay, I used to do that as a healer a lot. You can do it with DPS as well. You will be getting attacked, and it will be available on every single cross if you take Scramble. Okay, the other talent that we tend to take is Get to the Bulge. Tendon Blast will grant upper hand. What this does is it saves us downtime. Because what can happen, we can get into situations where Bludgeon is on cooldown and we've got nothing essentially to press, and the choice is to press Quick Shot, where we can hit out a Tendon Blast, get another Sucker Punch, get more Sucker Punches out, and then get Bludgeon out, and gets you an extra Sucker Punch in your rotation. I always find it just gets us an extra little Sucker Punch. We'll demonstrate. Well, if we select Treek here, you can see we can trick move to Treek there. Good job, she's sitting there, really. Sitting there bored, wondering where all the other companions have gone. So yeah, I mean, that is quite useful. A trick move. It is very, very useful. The fact we can use it on an ally. Don't use it in TFB though on the final boss. You will just die. I thought, what happens if you use it in the final boss? And I just fell through the level and died. Okay, died with take fall damage that killed me there. So let's get to the gearing. Gearing this one now. We should point out this isn't her gear. This is the Vanguard gear. In terms of priority, crit used to be the priority here. I'd say we're leaning more towards Alacrity. The reason for that being is we do get extra critical chance. Okay, we do gain extra critical chance. Everything gives us a lot of critical chance, so we're going to end up with a lot of crit chance. So 35% crit is okay. The rest is going into Alacrity. Gets our Sucker Punch rolling faster, gets our Bludgeon cooldown faster, certainly here. In terms of our gear, you can see here we're Vanguard gear on. The 6-piece set bonus is very, very nice. Our Bludgeon gives us a, what is it, 2% damage increase. The 6-piece is Blood Boiler, becomes an auto crit, I think, after we use a Bludgeon. I think it's after Bludgeon, I can't remember, or is it Back Blast, I don't remember. But Bludgeon becomes an auto crit, a Blood Boiler, should we say, becomes an auto crit, which makes it awesome. Okay, which is what we want. Okay, Blood Boiler on cooldown. Her gear is pretty bad. This is just the Vanguard stuff we've got. 220 main hand. Still got some Revanite stuff. We've got the Revanite package in there. It's got Alacrity in it. I've got the Revanite relics. Still got them. Have got capped accuracy, which of course is the most important thing. Weird having capped accuracy. I've only got 208 barrel in there with now I only have power crystals. I should point out I have got power crystals instead of crit crystals. So if I put 2 crit crystals in, I'd probably be set for crit. That would be it for me, and that would be it. The reason why I have power crystals is because I like to play this as a healer, and I don't really like crit as a healer. I don't want to. I'd rather have power than crit as a healer, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just more of a sure thing, you know, because we'll discuss that in a healer video. It's a damage video. Right, so what is the rotation? We always start in stealth. The reason we start in stealth is that Back Blast will grant us upper hand. So what we want to do is be behind the target. You can stand a bit away from the target. You don't have to stand right behind the target. Be behind the target. We're gonna trick move our way up to the target, and then it keeps us into stealth. And what we're going to do is open with Back Blast, get your Blood Boiler up, make sure your Blood Boiler up, spend your Sucker Punch, 2 Sucker Punches, a Bludgeon, and then another Sucker Punch. And you can see here on cooldown, so we can hit this and get another Sucker Punch out. Again, keep Back Blast on cooldown. And there you go, we get an extra Sucker Punch into our rotation. And then our Blood Boiler on cooldown. Put up that dot. And then you go, we get Sucker Punch out. Back Blast. Hit our, what's it called? Tendon Blast. And then we just keep going with this until the target dies. There are sometimes we can get into situations where these two are on cooldown, and if we've got enough energy, we are going to use Quick Shot. That's when we use Quick Shot. Quick Shot also, bear in mind, has a 10 meter range, should we say? 10 meters. So we could be a little bit away from the boss. If we're away from the boss, we want to Quick Shot it. Okay, we just want to be Quick Shotting it. Blood Boiler also has a 10 meter range as well. Flurry of Bolts, it's a 30 meter range. So you can just shoot that if you have to be further away from the boss. Then it's not ideal, really. You always want to be behind the boss, and we always want to be in range. Trick Move does help us a lot with getting back into range if we're away from the boss. This gets us into range. The only change I would make to Trick Move is it should spawn us behind the boss. Okay, it should just spawn us. You see here, just moves us right in front of the boss, which is no good in this spec. We never want to be in front of the boss. We want to be here. If it transported us behind the boss, if it moved us to here, then it would be a lot better. So that's the only change I would make to this spec. But it is quite a simple spec, really. It's quite an easy spec. Ignore my triage, Adrian. I was a healer for a while, so I mean, in terms of where it is in PvE, it's just not great. What the hell are you doing here, Risha?
I'm too young to be a queen anyway.
What the hell? Why are you here? Shouldn't you be off somewhere? Are all my other companions back? Me Wookiee's not there. Where's me bounty hunter? She ain't here either. What the hell is Risha doing here? What the hell are you doing here?
I'm too young to be a queen anyway.
Yeah, but why are you here? Didn't everybody leave? What the hell are you doing here? That's weird. I know we've got Treek and we've got HK 51 because you keep them, but you don't normally keep your companions at the end of Shadow of Revan. Or should we say Fallen Empire? Yeah, there's all our existing companions. We can't summon her, but she's still there on the ship, weirdly. You know, we still got Treek summonable, HK51 summonable. We can summon all the new main characters. Ah, that's weird. But anyway, that is all for the Scrapper Scoundrel. Gonna have to go and learn the Ruffian Scoundrel now, the dot spec Scoundrel. Should be fun. But anyway, that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon. And goodbye.